In a conventional company, we have people organised by department. So let's say we've got sales, got a certain number of salespeople, and we've got a certain number of designers, we've got production, we've got production control, and I'm going to say that the area of this is the cost. We've got meetings which everyone has to have in order to communicate, and then we've got support departments. So we've got people like the IT department, HR, finance, marketing, looking after the website and everything. And then of course management, that's quite a big block, and I've given that a biggish area because management are expensive. So let's say that this area is the total cost of our organisation. Now with fractal management, what we're doing is we're cutting the cake in a different way. So we have one person doing all of this. So one person does the sales, design and production, but they also do their own production control. They don't have meetings anymore, so that's gone. They do their own IT, their own HR, their own finance, their own marketing, so they look after their own website. And of course, there's no management. Now you may say, they can't do all that, but they can, because a plumber does all of that. And I do that as a freelance trainer. I do my own selling, my own design, my own production, or if you like, delivery of training. Well, I don't need to do any production control because I'm doing my own production, so there's no need for that. I look after my own IT, my own HR, I do my own invoicing, and I do my own marketing. So what they do is they cut the cake like this. They have a whole load of people, like a plumber or like me, doing everything. So that's what they do. Now the question is, does this work out better in terms of cost? And of course the first thing is there's no management required because they're all just doing it. No production control because they're just doing their own thing. They don't need meetings. They might occasionally talk to each other and share work, but they don't have the interdepartmental meetings we used to have. And in fact, communication is now much simpler. So half of sales is you're in front of the customer, but the other half of sales is you're talking to design and you're talking to production and dealing with all of that. So sales really becomes probably only this much because you don't have the communication. And similarly, design can do 100% design. There's no going backwards and forwards between sales to find out what they wanted and going backwards and forwards with production to find what they want and debating about whether the drawing was right, because you were the one that sold the job, so you don't need to talk to the salesperson to find out what it is. And then you don't need to talk to production because you're the one who's going to produce it. And similarly, production don't have to waste time dealing with the drawing office, and they don't have to deal with anybody else. They just get on with the job. So the area of these is massively reduced. A typical person just does the selling, just does the design, does the production, and the rest of that is gone. Now, what happens with the services? Well, they still have to do IT, HR, finance, marketing. But these become much more efficient because we find ways to make them more efficient. When this is your department, there's no way you'd want to reduce the amount you do because that's what you do, that's your ethos, and that's your job and your income. But when it's a sideline to what earns the money, because these are the only ones that get paid, selling, designing and producing are the only things that you actually get paid for in this new model. So if we can find a quicker way to do it, we will. If I could replace finance by an app, which I have done, then I will. So finance becomes much less arduous when it's just you. HR becomes pretty much zero because you don't have disputes between people and disciplinaries and grievances because you're just you. So that pretty much disappears. And then IT becomes reduced because it's simpler. You don't need big complicated systems when it's just you. And marketing you still have to do. You still have to update the website and things. But we're finding quicker ways. And because we have a general understanding of everything, we can understand it better and we can do it quicker. But the main thing is that there's an incentive to find quicker ways to do this rather than to build our own nest and make the departments bigger. So you could say that the total area in the end, if I draw it vertically, is you've got the time that the individuals are spending on selling, the time they're spending on design, and the time they're spending on producing, which is what they're paid for. And then we've got, let's call it, we've got one thin stripe of IT, We still have to do a bit of that. We've got a very small amount of finance. It's pretty much automated. And then we've got a bit of marketing. And we've got no management. And you can see we've managed to save all of this area. Has all gone. And it really is true. No more meetings, no more politics, no more communication problems, no more silos. The area is more than halved. And that's why we can get more than double the output per head. In fact, more than 5 times the output per head by using Fractal management.